What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Inside the Game, your one source for everything around the world of video games. Don't forget, you can be a part of the show. All you have to do is go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up on Discord, where there you can submit your clip and end off our show. If you want to see more ITG, then check us out at Inside the Game on YouTube or live every day on Twitch at twitch.tv/theofficialitg. Now, what's coming up on this week's show? Here's the rundown. Check it out. So I'm always kind of keeping my eye out for what's next, sort of thing.
So that's my piece of advice in Level Up this week.
Stadia is a great platform. I think especially being new to it, I love the access you have to it.
All right, Scott, we're checking out the Bloober team's latest title, The Medium.
That definitely looks like a great show. So let's get started. Here's Corey and I with some downhill action. Well, Corey, it's all downhill from here. Corey, you and I jumped on the PlayStation 4 to check out Lonely Mountain Downhill and the latest DLC with the game, and this comes across as a very simplistic downhill race game, but honestly, man, this is really a lot more complex and a lot deeper than I anticipated. And I think that's really what hooked me overall. You need to go from point A to point B, and throughout point A to point B, you're crossing over checkpoints, and you have simple challenges. I say simple, but it's really not that simple. You either have to get down the hill in a certain amount of time, or you have to get down the hill without falling so many times. And that's kind of the basis of the game. I do appreciate the fact that the first time you're introduced to a track, they more or less just make it down the hill, and away you go. But I kind of got a bit of a Trials feel, a Trials-esque with the different spin, right? The controls, I think, were something to get used to, because it's not just that simple one plane like Trials has been known for, where you're actually, you're hitting the curves and you're hitting certain other parts of the track that you need to be able to turn almost on a dime. And sometimes that break kind of saves it all. Corey, what do you think about this game, dude? Because I've been having a blast.
Yeah, you know what? This game kind of caught us by surprise. It's been out for a little while, but we're checking out the DLC, which is essentially a new mountain with a bunch of new tracks. So it's just an addition to the base game, but it's just as good. The graphics here, the visuals of this game, obviously this is a thing that you and I always get hooked on, but it's definitely an easy watch, right? This game looks visually appealing while you're playing it. The environments, the outside, it's beautiful. The audio is what you really notice. There isn't there isn't a ton of music at all, other than the menu music. When you're in the game and you're going down the mountains, it's just the environment. It's birds chirping.
Peaceful.
It's actually as intense as this game feels, it's very calming to play, because it's, you're just trying to go down the mountain and you're trying to get down as fast as you can. And like you said, there's challenges to complete, and you can earn bike parts to do a little bit of upgrading in this game. There's not a ton of customization here, but there is some to be had, whether it's upgrading the style of bike you have, or there's kind of, different levels of bike as you go that kind of offer, different things, whether it be better turning, braking, things like that. Then you can also kind of customize your rider, and that's just kind of basic stuff. I ended up getting a Viking shield you can throw on your guy, and it just kind of adds to what it looks like when everything's going downhill. But again, this game is challenging, and like you said, you get to go freebie down the hill the first time through, and it kind of lets you learn all the nuances with that particular track, how far some of the checkpoint zones are, which I found some of them were short, some of them felt really long. And those are the ones you end up repeating over and over again. Yeah. And the nice thing is even though you have to repeat things sometimes if you crash or you just feel like you didn't go fast enough, you can quickly kind of jump back to that previous checkpoint. And the best part is your time kind of resets to where you were when you hit that checkpoint marker. So, if you went down and you felt like maybe it just wasn't fast enough, to get to that, 2 minutes and 30 seconds challenge to get all the way down the hill, you could zip back down before you finish that particular section and try it again, right? So there's so many things to kind of discover every time you go down the hill here. It's just, it's one you can just pick up and play over and over again here.
Corey, one of the coolest parts about the game, obviously, is going from point A to point B as quickly as possible. And what I found myself as I'm playing the game, and I'm hitting the tracks, I then notice over on the one side of me or the other side that like, oh, there's another like lane over there to hit instead, and that really kind of, it cuts down the time. Sometimes it cuts down the time a lot. I've seen some of these people complete these tracks, and when you check out the leaderboards, in like 21 seconds. I thought, how did you pull that off? Like, it was phenomenal to think that that's even possible when I'm sitting at like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and they cut it down to 21 seconds. I was like, yo, how'd you do that? But it was cool because every time I go down, I'd see another way to try to traverse that track. So I'm always kind of keeping my eye out for what's next, sort of thing. What I would have liked to have seen is, yeah, they have a daily and like a daily challenges, and they focus on the leaderboard. But I would have liked to have seen some sort of multiplayer aspect added in, where you and I can meet up online and race together, or maybe in like a ghost mode where I would see your rider hit the track, and then I could compete with that ghost. Someone along those abilities would have been a nice little extra feature. Now, the overall, Corey, the game isn't all that expensive either, right? I think for $20, you get the base game, and then another $6 is the DLC. Yeah. And believe me, it's well worth the money because there's a lot of content within the game itself. I think that's one of the things that surprised me the most, was how much replayability and how many tracks and just different things there were to do within the game that I wasn't quite expecting.
Yeah, they do a good job here with the difficulty level. Yes, it's challenging, but it's not hard enough that you want to put it down and not come back to it, right? It's challenging to the point where, okay, I want to try that again. Like, I know I can do it. Let's jump back in and kind of get to it. And honestly, I had a blast playing this game, Drew. The only thing I could really, harp on is every once in a while, those camera angles, it's tough.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with the depth perception of the game, trying to figure out exactly kind of how my rider's lined up for a jump, or, I'm taking a corner too tight every time and I keep smashing in the same rock over and over again. So again, it's all part of the game, right? Some of the levels you're going through, and, trees in the foreground are obscuring your vision, and shadows, and there's so much kind of involved in the game, and that's all part of what makes it challenging. But at the same time, it's like, whoa, you get into some of these and it's like the difficulty level seems to vary. It's not always as consistent as you may hope for as you kind of move along these tracks as you go. But honestly, it's still a ton of fun to play, so it's not one of those things that will ever stop you from kind of jumping back in. And for under $30, this game's a steal.
No, absolutely. There's the one level is like an autumn setting, and the way the trees would pop in front, dude, it was almost giving me a headache, right? Because I couldn't keep track of where my rider was. Yeah, that was one of the biggest things that I had. But that was in the base game itself. Overall, then when you jump into the DLC, you're into more open spaces. You're into like a volcano kind of level. I thought it had variations going on throughout it, so I thought it was really cool. And honestly, this game was it was such a welcome surprise for me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Boy, overall, I think you and I had a great time going downhill, and for me, the surprise and charm of the game, and then just the loop of wanting to traverse the track again and again and again, and just find a different route to get there. Man, I found myself hitting the end of the track with a 9.
Whew, you know what? I'm up there, man. This one I knew was going to get a good score, shortly after we started playing this one. It's a ton of fun. There's a lot of game here for under $30. The environments look awesome. The audio is absolutely fantastic. This one I think is a no-brainer. I'm giving this one an 8.5.
Nice.
Challenging gameplay that keeps you coming back. Lots of tracks to choose from, plus the daily ride challenges. Other than odd camera angle issues at times, this is a solid title.
Alright, I'm back with more Level Up, and this week I'm talking about Rainbow Six Siege and the use of Hibana. Her X-Kairos launcher is very unique. She is one of the few hard breachers in this game, so when you're using her, you have to know how to use her gadget and the best way to do it. So I'm going to show you how to make a crawl space using only 4 of her pellets. Now what's cool about Hibana, you can actually change the rate of fire or the amount of pellets used when using her gadget. So it doesn't always have to be all 6 pellets. You can almost use her like Maverick in some cases, where you can just use 2 pellets and make a little peak spot. But really, what I want to show you is that you can make a crawl space using only 4 pellets, but you have to aim your launcher very, very carefully, because if you don't, you end up just making a spot that you can either just lay down and crawl through or awkwardly kind of crawl through. So you have to be very precise. But if you practice this, it is very, very useful for getting in the bottom room and just kind of having a good spot to put the diffuser. So that's my piece of advice and level up this week. Let me know what you guys think in Discord or on our website. We would love to hear from you guys. If you have some tips and tricks yourself, we would also maybe highlight that on our show.
So EA Sports has announced something pretty big. They're bringing NCAA Football back. The last game they made was in 2014, and ever since, some big lawsuits dropped from players towards EA by the fact that EA was profiting off the players, likeness and kind of everything about players, and the fact that college players at the time weren't getting paid. As of 2019, those rules have kind of changed, so people have been wondering if NCAA football is going to be coming back. Well, EA Sports has finally announced that the new rebranded EA Sports College Football will be returning with over 100 teams. So I'm telling you, we're jumping right back into it, but there is some question here of exactly what we're going to be getting as a product, because we may still not be able to use players' actual names and exact likeness, whether it be, their heights and weights and where they're from. That kind of stuff is what got them into the trouble previously. So right now there's some stuff that they're still hashing out in that department, but they have announced that this game is coming back. And the only thing I can think of is the fact that there's a huge following here that have been asking for this game to come back since 2014, but Madden's in trouble. People that played this game before have jumped over to Madden because they're looking for their football fix. And over the last few years, the Madden franchises have just been kind of a little stale, I think. Things have, they've been bad at times. They've been real bad. And they haven't done enough to really make it better, because they really haven't had any competition, right? If you wanted to play a football game, you're playing Madden. So the fact that we're going to be getting EA Sports College Football, I think, is going to be huge. They're going to be competing with each other. There's obviously still going to be the Madden diehards, but I'm really looking forward to being able to jump into a new football experience. Hopefully not based off, what we have in Madden. We're kind of getting a whole new experience here. So it's exciting to see. We don't have any official dates of a release for a game or anything like that. 2021 seems unlikely unless they've had something in the works and they're kind of just letting us know about it now. But the fact that we're getting it back and EA Sports says we're getting it back is really exciting. So football fans, keep your fingers crossed. Sooner than later, we're going to be seeing EA Sports College Football return.
Baseball season is just around the corner, which means PlayStation fans are going to get to see MLB The Show back once again. MLB The Show 21 is just around the corner, but we also have some exciting news for Xbox fans. Rumors leaked an image with the Xbox branding of MLB The Show. San Diego Studios has mentioned this in the past, that they were about to branch out. PlayStation has always been home for MLB The Show, one of the staple baseball sim games out there, and Xbox has never really had that sim title. They've had others in the past, and probably the closest thing they've had ever since, well, I can't even say RBI is really that sim, is it? It's really not. It's more of a cartoon game. But now, thanks to MLB The Show, they're finally going to get a game to play baseball over on Xbox. And I know the guys are big fans of Xbox, so here, maybe now, I might have somebody to play some baseball with. Looking forward to it. Let me know if you're getting MLB The Show. Are you getting it on Xbox, or are you sticking with PlayStation? It seems weird to be on Xbox.
Alright, so what the heck, Warner Bros? What are you guys trying to do right now? Alright, so for Warner Bros, they are trying to put a patent on Shadow of Mordor's Nemesis system. So if you're not familiar with this, a few years back when they came out with Shadow of Mordor, they came out with this really cool revenge system where if you get killed by an enemy, they progress in rank and they level up essentially and seek vengeance on you. So what is Warner Bros trying to do? They're trying to put a patent on this so that game developers are not allowed to do this. I'm mind blown right now. Gaming in general is about expanding upon ideas. That's what if Doom way back in the day said, hey, 3D first person shooters, we're gonna put a patent on this. What would gaming be now? Who knows what it would be. But this to say, the Nemesis system, I adore it and I love those games. So would I like to see other developers do similar things and expand upon that idea? Absolutely. This is ridiculous. I can't even believe that they're going to put a patent on the idea, or rather they're going to put a patent on revenge. Like, how could you do that? That doesn't even make sense. So just to give you an idea, this is actually expired now, but years ago, Sega actually put a patent on having an arrow on your compass. Yes, this was a thing. And Nintendo, they have some sort of weird patent for some strange game, Eternal Darkness. Thankfully, we don't feel that one too much, but the fact that this is a thing, this is just all bad. This should never be a thing. Game developers should be able to, if indie developers especially, this hurts. These people that played these games and love this idea, and they have something of their own that's kind of expanded upon it. What, are you just gonna really just screw this company over because they're not allowed now? Oh, I absolutely am blown away by this. Let me know what you guys think.
We are now in 2021 and we are getting some distance between now and when Battlefield 5 was released back in 2018. Now, naturally, it's been a few years, so speculation is starting to grow on what will be the next Battlefield game and when can we expect it. Well, the CEO of EA has dropped little hints here and there, stating that they are planning for a holiday release this year, and that more will be revealed in the springtime for an official reveal event. Now, he has hinted slightly that the game will be considering a lot of feedback from Battlefield 5, as Battlefield 5 was not quite the commercial success that they were expecting. Now, it has been stated that this game will be a return to the full-scale Battlefield kind of combat that fans of the series have grown to love. Battlefield is known for destructible maps and giant big team battles, and this title will surely be packed with the most players so far of any Battlefield game, and an emphasis on battlefield destruction with the new technology of the new consoles today. Now, I'm very excited about Battlefield and I want to know more. I can't wait for the spring reveal to get a lot of the details about this new title, and I'll be in there day one.
The future of gaming is to stream any game wherever you are to any portable device. Now previously this was only possible by using remote play. As long as your portable device and your console was on the same internet connection, you can stream your game. This was great, but it had its limitations. Well, in September last year, Microsoft released the xCloud subscription service, which means you can actually stream your games from your console or from the Game Pass wherever you are. The problem was this was only available for Android, as Microsoft didn't have the support on iPhone or the iPad due to limitations Apple had imposed on the iOS apps. Well, good news is in spring this year, you will be able to play your games on your iPhone or your iPad. They also released an iOS update, the 14.5, which actually supports the new Xbox Series controller and the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller. It's still not clear if it will support the haptic feedback feature yet, but time will tell and we'll have to wait and see. Also, bearing in mind there's over 1 billion people that have an Apple device, so this is good news for Microsoft, as can you imagine all the people playing games on the xCloud.
Alright, Scott, we're checking out the Bloober team's latest title, The Medium.
All right, Jack. Now, get some rest.
I need no. Yes, yes. Be good, Marianne. I love you, my child. I've loved you since the moment you walked into my life. Remember that. Always.
Alright, Scott, so like I said, we got our hands on The Medium, and this is kind of a walking sim, not so much horror, but like suspense, I guess, kind of style game. And man, this one really caught me by surprise. I pretty much crushed this in a weekend. I really enjoyed this title, because it's not your typical kind of horror action style game. It's very less on the action side and a lot more on the lore and story building side. What did you think?
Yes, I think you've summed that up very nicely. It is something in the vein of what we call a walking simulator, which is just a suspense-driven, first-person, normally horror kind of scenario. But this is very unique of its own. It is very all about the story and enticing you to keep on pursuing this mystery and figure out what happened to all these people and this location. And it's a lot different in the way it plays than some of the games that we're more familiar with. It is often compared to Resident Evil, and I think that's a little bit of an unfair comparison, because Resident Evil is something packed with action and fights between monsters and stuff happening just as you traverse. This game is a lot more relaxed on the action aspect of it. There is still action, there is still conflict and things to defend against, but it is much more of a drawn narrative while you are walking as this character through two different worlds, mostly simultaneously. And that's the kind of big unique thing about this game, is that you are a medium. You can exist in the physical world or the spirit world, and you must use both of those to solve problems, puzzles, and progress your way through some of the obstacles that are put up in your way. And I think this one is really imaginative that way. There's several parts throughout the game where you must interact with an object to change aspects of the spirit world version of the same location. So you're opening doors or you're accessing different areas through the manipulation of these spirit items. It's really imaginative and innovative.
Really cool.
And it is really cool. It plays out very well. And it's all surrounding your kind of unspoken task as a medium to help some of these spirits on their journey to the other side. And that's where this game does get very dark. It does tackle a lot of very mature themes.
Yes.
And that is something that everybody should know going into it. This is not a game for kids. And it will reward those who stick around and really follow the pieces of the story, because it's all included in these pickups or observations of the general area. It's a very deep story behind everything.
Yeah, honestly, the way they do the collectibles in this game, I thought was very, just really intuitive. As you're exploring, you're collecting things and you're reading, and honestly, I've kept reading everything because the universe that they've created is so interesting, and it's just like you said, man, it's got this very dark hint, especially as you get further in the story. You're really like, whoa. But man, I've definitely enjoyed this title, and I think something that this game also does incredibly well is the graphics, man. Like, this is a next gen title, 100%. Unfortunately, it doesn't run 60 frames per second. It's a solid 30 with, I've had a couple dips, but for the most part, it runs very well. And some of these camera shots they get you in, man, it's just like, wow, this is gotta be one of the best looking games.
It is very interesting visually and graphically speaking, because it does I have to mention Resident Evil again, but it does the Resident Evil fixed camera angle style. So you get these long vistas behind the character that get really populated, or these things that change when you go from spirit world to physical world. And it has its own style kind of over everything. It's not hyper realistic, but it has this almost paintbrush effect where the detail is really there, and a lot of really dark scenes, and it's visually captivating. I think that's the way to say it, is just there's something for the eye to see almost all the time, no matter what you're doing. And that's really important because this game is primarily an exploration game. So they definitely packed it full of some entertainment for the eye as well. And that was really cool. I only have one problem with the graphical style of the game, and that is perhaps just a personal issue of mine, is that it's very dark. It is very dark. Sometimes it's really hard to navigate, especially in the spirit world, because the light source just is not there. And I think that's done purposefully. There's something happening behind the scenes with the ambience, and it accompanies the story well. But it's just physically, to get through it, it's a little difficult with how dark everything gets.
And speaking of getting through things, this game's kind of filled with puzzles, and for the most part, they're not too difficult. You're not getting stuck. I did get stuck, I think, 3 times in this game. And to kind of add on to that, the horror side of things, it's not really a horror game. I got a good couple jumps there, but for the most part, you don't have this stress of like, oh, this thing's lurking. Like you said earlier, there are moments in this game for sure that, where you do have these encounters, but for the most part, it's just you exploring this really dark, eerie world.
Thank God.
You're all right. I was so worried.
Oh, yeah. That thing almost got me. What the hell is it?
It came from shame. From helplessness. From rage.
Rage.
It's like anger, but more. Once it got out.
Alright, Scott, so we've gushed a lot about this game, and I think we should talk just briefly on the story, because since this game is very much a heavily story-driven game, we don't want to give away too much. But the way this game kind of starts you off is you are actually burying your father figure, and shortly after this, some kind of weird, mysterious stuff happens, and you get a phone call, and you are drawn to Niwa Hotel. And from there, I'm not going to really dive too much more into it, because that's where the real mystery unravels. What did you think, though, about the story?
I think the story was delivered in a really methodical way that was very, in my opinion, emphasized properly. They very deliberately withheld certain things and let you kind of learn different aspects about the characters that are involved and the location that, when it all comes together, it kind of hits really properly with the ambience of your exploration and the jump scare kind of things that happen along the way. I think it was really put together properly, where the action is not the focus, but it definitely easily moves you from one section to the next, where the story is told in a very interesting way. I really enjoyed my time with this one. There's just a couple things maybe that I wish would have happened, just to make it a little bit different, some personal, points that I could have given, but this game to me is very well put together. This one is an 8.5 out of 10.
Wow, man, that's awesome. I am actually just a tiny bit lower than you. Through my 10-hour experience, I adored this game. I think that they maybe could have done a little more with the medium side of things. Like the puzzles, they're good and you get through them, but they're not crazy and intuitive. So I'm gonna have to give this one an 8, man. A unique and refreshing thriller exploration game. Masterfully blended horror and story elements make this game a standout title.
Hello? Thomas? Easy, Marianne. It's just a good old-fashioned haunted hotel.
Well, guys, I really don't know what to say. We've had some interesting news come out of the world as Stadia. Google Stadia is shutting down the Stadia Entertainment and Games division. So I'm baffled, because this is the studio that Jade was kind of taking over. This is her role. She was taking Google Stadia's Games and Entertainment division to create first-party titles for the platform. They just shut that whole division down. That's 150 people out of a job. Hearts go out to them. They did state that they are looking to find them new positions within the company. Okay, great. Jade Raymond, though, just bailed. She's gone. Whether that was a force out or her own choosing, we don't know. I did reach out for information and was not able to gather that information, but we did get a response. The response was stating more or less that nothing's changed, except really there's no first party games. Everything's still Stadia. You're still going to get your third party titles. You're still going to get Stadia Pro. They're still looking at adding more devices. So everything's going, but honestly, when that news dropped, my heart dropped with it. And it was, to me, is it the end of Stadia? I kind of questioned it, to be honest. I really kind of thought, that's it, it's over. Well, like, why go to Stadia? It's a third party machine as it is. So moving forward, we were banking on the fact that, Jade Raymond was bringing this cloud native background with the fact that Google's there. Cloud natives, their native cloud service allows games to be developed at a higher fidelity with more available options for developers, able to push tech further than what they can say on a console. That was their whole premise behind creating Google Stadia, and that's still there. Now they stated that they're going to work with developers, third-party developers, but there's still no first-party games. Scott, what did you think of this news, man?
Well, it's important that they did make the differentiation. They explained they are still continuing as a service. That is important because games and entertainment division sounds like the beginning and the end of what Stadia encompasses, but it really it means more or less they're just going to rely on the labor ability of other developers. And I think we've seen something like that in Guilt. Not necessarily first party game production, but it kind of fit the bill and was an exclusive on the service. That was something we both had an interesting time with, and I certainly enjoyed it.
Sure did.
And it's a little disheartening to hear that they're just kind of going with the less first party emphasis than we had expected, because we've been talking about Stadia off and on for a better part of a year or more now, and it's always just with a degree of uncertainty. One of those kind of standout things that we could be certain would be a good force for Stadia is if they came out with their own brand of video game. Their own actual production would sustain them and cement a good spot for them in the future. But they have obviously weighed this decision heavily, I'm sure, and they're just deciding to go the other way. So I'm very optimistic still. I've been blown away by the Stadia so far in what they've delivered, and what they said they were going to deliver seems to be exactly that. We don't lose too much. So I'm hoping that there's some wisdom in this one, and that we are still going to see potentially exclusives, but we're going to hopefully see some developers add their weight behind Stadia with this new decision.
Yeah, you know what, Scott? I'm kind of erring on the same side as you a little bit, but a little bit kind of more in Google's favor here a little bit. Because, Drew, when you came out, this Jade Raymond, her coming to Google was a huge acquisition for them. Yep. Her background, it was a big deal, and to have her be a part of the fact that she was going to be helping put out exclusive first party games to this brand new kind of cloud gaming platform that we were all very interested in but didn't know a whole lot about at the time. But over Stadia's lifespan so far, how much have we actually talked about these first party games coming to the platform? There's been very little discussion whatsoever about this stuff, and it's not saying that there wasn't stuff in development. They weren't looking at options, but we didn't really have anything to go on as far as what to expect anytime soon coming from this department, right? Which makes me think that maybe the focus wasn't solely there from the beginning, and then as things have progressed, especially over the past year, 2020 was a tough business year overall with the pandemic, and moving into 2021, things aren't any easier right now just because the year's changed. So maybe this move is, I know Google's got a ton of money, and it's weird to say, maybe they want to save money, but if they're looking at a venture that, to make good first party games, you need, studios, you need talented people, and I'm sure those 150 people that they were employing were those right people, but those resources need to always be there, and when push comes to shove and things need to be changed, then maybe they're looking at changing something like that because the development just wasn't where it needed to be. Stadia is a great platform. I think especially being new to it, I love the access you have to it. It's so easy, and it's just one of those things. I kind of talked about it earlier in the week, that it's very much like Game Pass in the sense that it's one of those libraries that as it builds, it's only going to get better. So yeah, we might not be getting, Google Stadia first party games, but we're getting good games on the platform, and we are getting some exclusives that are coming. So it's just one of those things where it's just, I think if we wait a little bit longer, it's just only going to get better, right? So I don't think Google Stadia is out of it by any means. I think they're right now one of the premier cloud gaming platforms. Sure. So it's a weird move, and it was big news this week, but I think overall there's not going to be as big of a kind of ripple effect as we maybe initially thought. What do you think, Nate?
Well, man, so I think that xCloud, with Xbox releasing their numbers recently, over 100 million gold users, 18 million Game Pass users, with getting over 1 million every month over the last few months. That's crazy. Astonishing numbers. I don't know what Stadia has, if they're close to that or if they're double that. Who really knows, right? But I just kind of see them, looking at the future and being like, well, I don't know, guys. I don't think we can compete, at least to that degree. We can compete, you know, we could put ourselves on cruise, you know, get all these third-party support games because companies want to just make money and it's an easy platform to make it on. So I don't know, man. I think they're just gonna put it on cruise and just make, you know, money instead of investing all this money. Like, it took Microsoft years to get to where I think, you know, at a point where they have good exclusives, man. They've missed a lot of games, and I think Stadia just kind of maybe sees like, do we want to go down this 10-year path of hit and miss games? And really, like with xCloud, like I said, being such a, you know, a big thing now and popular and growing, it's
so integrated, right?
Yeah, exactly. The whole family of Xbox is so integrated, and what Stadia has to offer is great, but it's just, I don't know if it's like, you know, if there's one or two games that are good, are they like amazing that I'm gonna switch over? You know what I mean? Like, it's
no, you're not gonna switch.
It's a tough call, man. You know, you're not, and that's it. Like, it gets so hard to come into the game at this stage. Like, you know, you're on PS5.
Yeah.
And Series whatever, Xbox whatever, right? So it's like, my goodness. But I think what they kind of, in my opinion, it's like a Steam Epic Games launcher approach, but it's a cloud streaming approach instead, or you know, online streaming.
Why would you switch when you can play the same games already on your other consoles? That's the biggest changer for me. Is you go to these platforms for usually one particular reason, and that's the exclusives. And when there aren't exclusives out there, especially first-party exclusives, then why bother, right? We go to PlayStation because we're playing God of War, we're playing Spider-Man, we're playing, you know, first-party titles that you can only get out of PlayStation. You're only gonna get Ratchet and Clank on one platform, kind of thing, right? Like, that's if you want Spider-Man, you have to get a PlayStation. Okay, but if I want to play Cyberpunk, either way, you can get it. Most of the time, you can get games. That's a bad example, but you can get games on other platforms. That's my point. Is that you can get all these games everywhere else. So when we're already getting Immortals Phoenix Rising, it's everywhere. So why would I want to switch over to Stadia when I'm already on my Xbox and have it there, or PlayStation?
Unfortunately, you don't, man. And honestly, it's something that Xbox kind of talked about, and we've talked about a little while ago, is that Game Pass isn't. It's gonna be on your TV soon, man. This is gonna be just a streaming platform. And this is Xbox is almost not even gonna be a console. It will always be a console, but
I don't know about that.
It's gonna be a streaming. Dude, it will. I will. With 86% increase in numbers and, you know, hardware, they're gonna make their money off that. But anyways, just that's my thought, boys. Holy cow, we could talk about this forever.
Yeah, no, we definitely could keep going, right? I'd love to talk more. We definitely want to hear what you guys think. Did Stadia make the right move or not? Hit us up at insidethegame.ca and let us know.
Alright, Drew, we're checking out the latest game from Outer Loop Games, and that's Falcon Age on the Switch. Alright, Drew, so we got our hands on Falcon Age on the Switch. Now, this game is actually a port from VR, which I can kind of tell from my experience on the Switch. Now, do I think that this was a great port? Not so much, man. So let's kind of get into the nitty-gritty of why that is. What did you think?
Yeah, honestly, it's got that slow pace, and that's great for VR because over there you get the tendency to get motion sickness, right? So when you bring that flavor and style of game and port that to the Switch, you know, it was great to have it in handheld, but at the same time, like, Nate, it was so slow. Dude, it was so slow. It was painful. You start off in a prison, you've been captured. These robots have basically kind of taken over the area, and things happen along the way, and you inherit a young bird, and your falcon becomes your pet, your friend, and your companion as the story kind of progresses, and you break out of the prison. That's kind of where it really takes off. But even, dude, my time in the prison was boring and repetitive.
Oh, man,
like, this is the slowest start to anything.
Yeah, there's just a disconnect there, man. It wasn't a big, nice, smooth transition. Even when you finally escaped the prison,
Yeah.
I got shot and I was like, so confused by everything. And then, you finally realize that you were rescued by your aunt, and then you kind of get more of the story, and that's that your village or your people have been overtaken by the robots, and you, being a falcon hunter, are destined to rescue them. That's kind of a vague, idea for the story, but this story is not very long. It's about 4 hours, or so. So you gotta consider that as well. But okay, let's talk about the game itself. It's kind of an action adventure, I guess you could say, with some crafting mechanics.
Yeah.
But honestly, the highlight for me was the Falcon itself. It was the best looking part of the game.
Yep.
It actually you get to customize it with some equipment, and you actually use it to solve puzzles and to attack.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Falcon was the highlight of the game, right? It's called Falcon Age for a reason, but everything else around it just destroyed my time with the game. Like, her aunt is just mundane, dull. And dude, I just did not like her personality whatsoever. She's just this miserable, crusty lady. And I was just like, don't give me your crap, lady. Like, I don't have time for you. Honestly, she irritated the crap out of me. And I just didn't like listening to her at all. But good news is, I didn't really have to, because this game was like half voiceovered and then half not. It was, wow.
Yeah, so
I was like, why? Why would you do that? You either dive in and do it all, or just don't do any of it, right? And just let me read it. But they got this mix-up going on, and then she just constantly hit me with, girl.
Yeah.
Girl. I'm like, you say girl one more time, I'm gonna take this baton and hit you with it, and then get my Falcon to bite you. Like, I really got an irritation from this game that I was not enjoying it the way I was kind of hoping I would, especially when I knew it came from VR. The world of VR is so cool, and a lot of people really enjoyed it over there. So I was kind of hoping for more when it landed to the Switch, and it really did not connect in the slightest.
No, using your Falcon, it's not very smooth, man. I found there's a lot of times where I'm trying to get a rabbit or a lizard, and it'll just come close to swooping, or it'll just miss and miss and miss. Like, okay, what are you doing? Just come back to my arm. All right, try again. It's just not a very polished game, I guess you could say, in that sense.
Absolutely not. I felt it had a lot of more time needed in order to polish the game for where it should have been on the Switch. We played some incredible games on the Switch, Nate, especially the past year to 2 years. There's so much great content there. So there's a certain level that they should have been kind of striving for, and it was a huge miss. Even graphically, the world is plain and boring. The characters, when you run into, they give you side quests, and they're lacking any kind of personality whatsoever. And it's just, everything to me was just...
It just put you to sleep.
It just put me to sleep, right? Some of these games are tough that way when they put you to sleep, because you want to be involved, you want to be connected, and there's no connection here, because like I said, dude, I fell asleep playing the game.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree with you more. So I think if we're gonna score this one, what are you gonna score this one, man? Honestly.
Yeah, you know what? The Falcon, definitely the highlight of this, but I honestly felt like they should have left it as a VR game and not ported the game at all. Puts me there with a 4.
Okay, man, I'm a little bit higher than you. I think for $20, this could appeal to some people, but for me, it really didn't, so I'm there with a 4.5.
Nice. Falcon Age was a port to the Switch that should have stayed on VR. It was so slow, neither of us could connect with the game. The guys and I were live checking out Rogue Company over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg. They released some new heroes. Let's see how it goes.
I love the game intro. it's always made me be like, yeah, every time.
Oh, it's not inverted because I'm on my new console.
Not inverted. Because you're playing it wrong.
Yeah, it's because you're inverted.
Ah, there we go. Man, I miss the days of 360 where you could set your profile that it would default every game to whatever you wanted, man. That was so
I never had to
cool.
worry about that though, because I'm normal. But honestly, I commend you for being able to play that way. I can't wrap my head around that.
I'm dancing. My bad.
Oh, she's in here?
Whoa, what is that?
Let's go. Oh, she ripped me. Oh, you got a shield?
I do.
Oh, she got me.
Got her.
Watch behind you two guys. Behind you, behind you, behind you.
Oh yeah, he's in the.
You got it. You got me.
Oh, behind again.
Whoa. We got her.
Oh, right here, in front of me.
Headshot him. Let's go.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
These guys can't handle it, man. These guys can't handle it.
Yo,
There
Zub,
we go.
Dude, that intro is sick, man.
Yeah, Zub gets it.
Hey,
Zub
right.
gets it, man. Alright.
Let's try this thing.
That was like the satisfying thing about playing Daymare, was that every character has an intro that they walk in like that.
Yeah.
the whole game is like an action movie, but it's so sick.
Oh man, the first like turning point in that game, I was like, whoa, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes out with. It does not pull punches. Like it comes out with some dark stuff.
Oh, right here.
I'm gonna go around, guys, because we're gonna get flanked probably. Oh, Scott's on it. Scott's on it. Nice.
Yeah, I went soft right.
Trying to break down
I'm
his
gonna try to get
shield.
around Scott. Got a zipline action going here. Oh,
And this is
Two
not
of them just
working.
Came back.
oh, she's here sniping. Oh no.
Whoa!
There's one back here. She's sniping.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Ah, crap. Glitch got me. I got one of them.
She got me.
I knew better too. She was down. I should have left her. Want that finish.
Watch, Nate. She was up there behind the fence.
Ooh.
Oh, and behind you too, apparently.
You surrounded.
Just ganked.
Yeah, this one's a little further back.
Mm-hmm.
We just landed on the building.
Me, and it gave me a warning for being out of the like play zone.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they're coming. They're over here.
They're all over there. Watch that nade.
Whoa. Yep.
I think she's in. Oh no, she backed off. I think. Oh, she ripped me.
Oh, she's almost dead. I almost got her.
What is like? There's two of them down right there.
Oh, one got me. Oh no.
She's pushing
Got it.
on me. She's on the other side of the car now. Oh, now I can't see.
Whoa, no.
He's on me. Twitch is on me. Oh, he's left.
Nice.
In the doorway.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Oh, good roll. Good roll.
Oh, they got
Oh
the
man,
revive.
they're I was surrounded.
Nice try, bro.
45 seconds remaining. Enemies destroyed the bomb.
And that's good. That's all right. It's all good. Oh, she's saluting.
We almost squeaked that win, anyways.
Yeah. Move there. My bad.
I want to chop somebody up. I want to use this. Sweet sword.
Nice.
Oh, there you go. Right here again. Been in our favor a little bit here, eh?
We control the site. Defend it.
Oh, ran right into her.
Got her.
Holy.
This doesn't mean I like you.
Got a guy coming around my side.
Another
Right
one here.
Oh, come on. Oh, and I didn't bring my heels with me this time. And you're right there behind the thing. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, boys.
I tried to roll to save it, but that didn't work.
Whoa.
Oh, man, I'm dead.
Man. Oh, you got this score. He's right here.
Oh man, she's got that snipe though.
Yeah, she
That thing's
does.
vicious.
Oh, nice.
Well played, bud.
Okay. Nothing?
Control the site. Defend it.
Seriously.
That's why I'm taking advantage of the time. Oh, there's one beyond this doorway. Oh, the sniper.
I was holding back here.
Oh,
Here, Scott, can you back up a little more? Behind this desk?
yeah. Yeah.
Right. Oh, they're coming at you. They're coming at you.
Yeah. She doesn't know we're here though, I don't think.
Oh, man, I almost killed her.
45 seconds remaining.
Whoa. No, you don't.
You got him.
Nice.
Good job, Drew.
Hunt him down, Drew.
Seconds remaining.
Still 3 though.
Careful, it's 3-3.
I like that shield, man.
Yeah, that's a cool shield, man.
Just start You're gonna start playing as Clash now.
Yeah, really.
10 seconds remaining. We're almost there.
Come on. There's
What
3
happened to
of them?
their team?
I don't know.
They're all just
They gotta
standing
be
in spawn, I guess?
gotta
The sniper's
be.
the only one playing?
Flawless execution. Let's go.
Okay.
That was weird.
That's a win.
Yeah, regardless, we'll take the win. But still,
Yeah,
that's
they're all standing back here.
ah, man.
What?
Really?
That's lame.
Two
Well,
games
that's
in
a
a
challenge.
row, people getting butt hurt.
Right?
What?
Can't handle the heat, man. They can't handle the heat.
No.
That'll wrap up this week's episode. Don't forget, you can be a part of the show. All you have to do is go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up on Discord, where there you can submit your clip and end off our show. This week, we've got Enslin with some Descenders action. Again, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you inside the game.